globe about their past, present, and futures in business, innovation, and life. There's no guest scheduled for today, so me and my producer will be discussing the latest innovations in the industries to keep you up to date. Let's chime in. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Well, right now we have future technologies that we're going to be discussing, and this is written by and referenced by BBC Science Focus. Now, we have a couple of technologies I wanted to talk about and I wanted to chime in on. So let's get started. So the first one is basically laboratory necrobotics. You're going to flip out when you hear this, and I want to chime in on Nathan about this in just a second. Necrobotics. So basically, future technologies often hold incredible potential to reshape our world, but can sometimes be unsettling. Necrobotics exemplifies this duality, turning deceased organisms into functional robots, basically. What is your input on that? They turned a spider into a robotic. They just throw air in it.
So you were talking about animals then, not...
We're working with insects first, but they're in the infancy stage.
My mind just immediately jumped to humans. I was like, oh. But, with like AI and stuff like that and robots and things like that, I was like, okay, but insects, okay. That I can be a little bit more easily accepting with right now, right off the bat.
Okay, and tell me, what do you think about, how do you think these, the spider, like I said, they put the hydraulic mechanism spiders used to move their limbs, basically, and they're in their early stage. So basically, I would like to say first that this is an amazing technology, because we're working with something in its infancy stages. And I think that we can definitely bring something, they call it the Frankenstein era, So tell me, what is your input on this?
There's a couple directions that my mind is sort of thinking about. And one of them is like Halloween and having, animatronics at theme parks or something like that, and creating these displays or maybe movie props. But the other one too that came to my mind is medical, and being able, because human body has sometimes instances of parasites or worms or things like that, and to be able to use that in a medical way, instead of necessarily all the little tools that doctor or surgeon has, maybe something like this to sort of, I know it sounds a little bit gross, but get inside of you and swim through your body and then identify the, maybe the cancer or something like that, and help extract whatever is maybe inside of your body.
Wow, that is a good idea. To extract, to find some type of cause of a cancer and extract it out of your body.
Right.
Wow. Okay, you got me there.
Just brainstorming, potential uses of.
Yeah, but you never know. Whatever we think of could happen, and they're probably doing at MIT right now. And so we're going to. This is a lot of them. It's a lot of technology. So this is the other one. Sand batteries. Simple yet effective technologies are transforming our energy landscape. Finnish engineers has developed sand batteries by heating 100 tons of sand. Now, you may not gonna believe me. I talked about this. I even one day I was on NASA. It was a website. It was actually I'm getting too hyper. It was
It's okay.
It was actually on Instagram, and I was like, well, what if we can heat up the dirt and cause some type of energy?
Yeah, because we're always looking for renewable energy sources. And I was actually just down at the coffee shop earlier today, and places like Arizona, they're in a really long drought, or they're droughted out into the future just because, water is becoming less available in those areas, or something like California or Nevada. And but what replaces when there's these droughts is, of course, the sand or dirt. So that becomes more abundant. So
Yeah.
how do we use that increased abundance to our benefit? And having renewable energy, of course, those places, obviously, they got like a lot of sun and they benefit with that kind of energy with solar, but being able to replace the absence of hydrologic energy with like dirt or that kind of resource would be interesting. I would just be curious of whenever you create energy, depending on how it's done, especially if you're using soil or sand, is there going to be an altered product after it's finished? Because, if we use gas, it becomes like, the carbon emissions. So would this be like a clean and renewable energy source is my question. I mean, yeah, we have it now, but what about in the future?
Well said. I think that the actual dirt could be reused somehow. I think it can be.
Yeah, I mean, everything
Because
becomes dirt and decomposes back into that.
exactly what I was thinking. You got the dirt that can be renewed, and you got like I was thinking of how flowers and everything grows from dirt. So that's it has to be an energy source, and they're looking into it right now.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
You
Because,
know.
soil provides nutrients and nutrients are energy. So just converting that to like an electrical form of energy would be really fascinating.
Now, could this dirt be like, even though it could be reused, would it be come back in a form of dirt? Like, would they put it in some type of machine where they break it back down once it cools off into a solid? Because obviously, if you heat it up, it's going to cool down into a solid. It once it cooled down,
Yeah.
and so you can put it like in some type of machine to break it back down to dirt, you know,
Mm-hmm.
capabilities. And I feel like, well, what if we use too much dirt? What can happen if we use too much dirt if it's
That is
not
true. Because
recycled?
agriculture, if you're into gardening or something like that, you have to replace your soil, every now and then because it runs out of that nutrients. So you are always going to buy like potting soil or topsoil to keep your lawn or garden or whatever a good place for your crops.
What if they have like artificial soil or something in the future?
I mean, that could almost be what compost is, right?
Oh, it
Yeah.
is. Oh, tell me more.
Because, you create compost by all your dead crops. You put it into this compost bin, and it basically becomes
Yeah.
dirt again.
Okay.
And then you put it into the compost bin, and after so many time, and you just plant your new crops onto that compost, and it helps provide higher nutrient soil for your new one. So it's like the old feeding back into the new.
That is pretty cool. That is really cool. I
And
don't do gardening, you can tell.
you can accelerate that too by using uh, living creature waste, like animal droppings or something like that.
Oh, what about just throwing it out there? What about human feces? What are we looking for? Like, even if you don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. There's probably something we can do with human feces too.
Yeah, I would think they are already probably doing that with your sewage treatment plants.
Okay.
They're already probably doing something with that, but I'm
Like,
not
what
really
if it
sure
was
what.
a energy? I know that sounds weird, but what if that could be used like from the sewer as some type of energy source or some type of newer, because we have to defecate. So,
Hmm.
when we do that, it's nutrients in the feces. So, that could be used for decompose though. That's
Yeah,
what
for
you compose.
compost.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Okay.
I do know there's like some sort of heat that emits from it too. Like you go over a sewer and it's of course, probably just warmer down there, but every time it gets colder and or even during the warmer months, you go like say around Seattle and you're going over those manhole covers and they're emitting steam is coming out of them. So it's like some heat is being created or released.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true, Nathan. Hold on for one quick second. We got eSkin for long distance hugs. Engineers at City University of Hong Kong has designed wireless soft e-skin that can mimic such touch sensations, paving the way for long distance tactical communication. This system uses flexible actuators or actuators to capture and relay movements as electrical signals, enabling users to feel each other through vibrations. Oh my goodness! What your first? What do you think first?
Maybe people in like long-term relationships that maybe just want to experience a hug from their partner, they could, you know, transmit that feeling of a hug through that e-skin and have more of a physical contact relationship or experience that while not being next to each other.
Yeah, that is out of this world. And that's the beginning of being able to probably zap into it. Because I know Facebook, they they said the only thing that doesn't work with their virtual reality is when you zap into somebody's house as a puppet or rhino or whatever you are, is the eye connection. The eye connection,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work. But just imagine being able to use this as a tool. I guess they wear a certain material and then, both wear certain materials and then, as they're hugging each other, they can feel the sensations. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I think that that is really cool. I really do.
Another thing too is especially with families moving away from each other or grandparents not being able to be around their grandkids, they can't do that little coochie coochie coo to
Yeah.
their to their grandbaby, and then now they can tickle them or whatever when they're on a video call. But it's
Yeah.
amazing, like with these ions. I actually kind of experienced it. I tried out this. It's like a massager, and they put on these little iodes or electron things. They put it onto your back, but the way it transfers that electricity or ions or whatever it does to make this work, it actually felt like there was an actual massage therapist behind me, doing the squeezings or the pullings or the different movements they do with their elbows or hands. But it was just these little tiny, it's almost like makeup pads when you're putting on makeup, those little circular cotton things. It's like almost that size, and you just put them on your back, but it makes you feel like somebody's actually giving you a massage, and you can feel it in your muscles and throughout different parts of your body.
Oh my goodness. That sounds like very good to have, to be able to have something that will massage your body and like we heard of massages, but they're coming out with so much newer massage material,
Physical therapies and all
yeah,
that,
yeah.
kinesiology.
Now, just off the wall question: have you ever? And we'll move on from there. But have you ever heard of this thing? It was this show in California, technology show, and I went to Jamba Juice and I was talking to a young lady that had an unk on her tattooed on her arm. Now she sat up there and said she went to this technology show and they actually had something like a unk, a tech advanced unk that goes in your nose and it radiates stuff from your to your brain to help you with depression and everything.
Oh yeah, like that helps kind of generate like those signals or whatever.
Yes, yes, and it's an amazing tool because now they have devices for young adults where they put it on their head for depression and it radiates. So they're doing something different. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're working with how they can get to through to the brain with not radiation but radio waves. You know.
Yeah, because I know shock therapy is a thing these days too.
Mhm.
All these different forms of, you know, medicine. I don't know if I would say medicine, but chiropractic care, which can help in the body in alternative ways than taking a pill.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Yeah.
And I know whenever I am around electricity, I always feel a different, no pun
Yeah.
intended,
Yeah.
energy to me. Like I used to drive underneath these power wires on my commute to work. And if it was a sunny day and hot and I had the sunroof open or the windows down, I could feel, all my hair starting to stand up just slightly. And I also feel like this electrical charge to me, which felt, in my experience, uh, very pleasant and positive. And it gave me like a, no pun intended, energy boost.
Understood. You know, I feel like electrical wise that we're kind of like part electric. We like watt out 200 watts and then maybe 1,000 watts if we're exercising. And that's basically what we do. And the socket walls are like 2,000 watts. Well,
Hmm.
here is probably a lot of watts.
Yeah. Well, think of defibrillators. I mean, if somebody's heart stops or a pacemaker, what do they use to get it back into rhythm or back up and running again? Electricity. So human bodies do have an electrical component to them.
Yeah, yeah. And okay, we're going to move on, but yeah, smelly VR. Okay.
Smelly VR?
Yes. Researchers at City University Hong Kong have also unveiled an olfactory feedback system for virtual reality. The system uses heated odorous wax to release adjustable scents, allowing users to experience smells alongside visuals. Applicants include online education, immersive entertainment, and 4D movie experiences, making a leap toward multi-sensory virtual interactions. You cut me off. What you want? What you had to say? I want to know what you want to
Oh,
say.
when I was saying about
Yeah.
smelly VR. Well, I was just thinking about when I was down in Universal Studios. I really, at that time, was into like Despicable Me and the Minions. And they opened up a ride that was Minion themed. And they had the fart gun and stuff like that. And it was a 4D experience. So, you put on the glasses and you sat in those chairs, which kind of adjust and things like that to make you feel like you're actually in that area. And then the fart gun, instead of smelling like that, it was actually bananas. They just did like this
Oh,
banana scented spray that filled up the entire room.
I'm sorry.
And that is something that, yeah, can definitely be easily accessible. It's kind of like, or I mean, not accessible, but achievable for VR. It's just having the right uh, f- smell packets or gels or wax, as you said, that you can put into the headset, and maybe each interactive experience you have with the headset can have its own special pack of waxes or something like that you put in, so it can help with your immersion in the experience, because that's
Yeah.
something that really brings you a lot to a place too, and people don't maybe aren't aware of, is the smells. Like, how many times do you go to some place or you do something and you have the smell and it brings you back to a moment in the past and triggers a bunch of memories? So smell is very important for immersions in environments.
I agree. I believe that smells is important. I remember when I used to go to my aunt's house, and she used to keep her house with mothballs in her house. And so when when I got my own place for the first time, I kept my area with mothballs, and it's just a unique smell,
Yeah.
the mothballs. And so it brought me back to a place where I was like, okay, I remember this. This feels good
Mm-hmm.
in my heart.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, the more senses you can put into virtual reality, the more you get to that first hand experience.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like, I think that I am proud of them, Hong Kong, for coming out with this because, you know, y- I don't really know exactly, like, how can you release a scent? Like, if you are online with your family member, how can you release a scent to them, to show, okay, this smell like mothballs today in his house, or her house.
Yeah, I think for at least the near future, it would have to be like prearranged sets that come with those virtual reality experiences. As far as you're doing like a video call, you probably would have to maybe know what they have available to them and
Mm.
all that. So that would, I mean, there could be, like colors, every basically color on your screen is based off of a amount of either red, green, or blue. It's just three colors, and then they manipulate the amounts of them to create the desired outcome. So I don't know how it works with scents, but maybe in each headset it had like a sweet or flowery or stinky smell. I mean, if there's like,
Oh, it's generic.
yeah, like
It's
maybe
basically
3 to
generic.
5 just like generic types of
Yeah.
smells or spice, something like that. And then they just kind of manipulate each one. So maybe one category gets a little bit more and then the other one gets less. Whatever it needs to do to sort of recreate that smell, then they could probably do it based off of those like 5 or whatever amount of generic smells are placed into the headset.
Okay.
That's what I would be,
That's just basically
curious about.
Yeah, that's basically what all it can do for right now.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it, but yeah, because thinking of it, you see that you can't send a smell. I mean, what if we were able to send smells?
Yeah,
Hey, smell
I mean, you
this
could
perfume
say
real
like,
quick.
I don't know, it's you'd probably have to, be maybe in a case where you download like pre-programmed smells, or maybe there's some already assigned, like if you wanted pumpkin spice or chocolate peppermint for the seasons, holiday seasons, then you can send that over. Or some like maybe you could have something where you try to recreate that smell, where you go into the headset settings and you try to program your own smell. So if you want like fireplace in the log cabin or something like that, and create that custom smell that you can send over to people.
That would be so great. That would
Yeah.
definitely be great if you can have like beyond a generic sense of smells to just send, via email or something or however.
Uh-huh.
Um do we got time for one more
Yeah, we got a few minutes left here.
Catapulting satellites into space. Spin Launch is testing a kinetic energy based system to launch satellites, reducing fuel and infrastructure by up to 70%. This technology propels payloads at speeds of 8,000 kilometers or kilometers per hour before releasing them skyward. While small rockets are needed for orbit insertion, this innovation already tested with NASA. Sorry, I'm sorry I damaged your name. I could space exploration by lowering costs of environmental impact. Okay, that took a long time. So basically, launching,
Yeah.
satellites into space. What do you think?
We kind of sort of have that already. I mean, depending on how they want to use this application, but aircraft carriers, when planes are taking off on aircraft carriers, there's no way they're going to be able to take off under their own thrusters alone with that short of space. So they have those launchers which catapult them horizontally and then help with their acceleration so they can get the lift they need to continue up into the air. But I guess with the satellites and stuff like that too, they would need it to be vertical instead. And whatever energy they use, I know, especially with trains and other tunnel technology, they've been using magnets or electricity, which help to launch it. And yeah, so it would definitely be an eyesore if you're traveling through an area that has one of those, because you're going to be looking at a tall, thin structure just sticking way up into the air probably. But that'll be interesting to see how they kind of take that aircraft carrier type aspect and then put it to satellites.
Well, I wanted to say one thing. All hail Nathan. I appreciate that. I wanted to say that I appreciate you being on the show with me today. And I would like to close and say that I hope that it's still not yet Christmas. So I want y'all to enjoy Christmas. And I hope that we gave y'all something that y'all can, think about. With that being said, y'all take care, be safe, and I'll see y'all next time.